Alright, I'm going to be back on temporarily. I realized that the stream image was all in one corner of the page. I'm going to try to find a way to centralize it on OBS. So what if we go here? Okay. See what we're looking like. It looks a little blurry. I'll see what I can do about this. Okay, I do have to stick with a smaller screen. I need some light. There we go. Well, now it's off again. Sharpness. What? I'll figure it out. These are probably just like temporary technical problems. Maybe just need something to focus on. That being there, maybe I can increase the screen size just a tad. Not quite in the middle, but I think that's better. Definitely want to have it kind of centralized if at all possible. I don't know if I'm streaming or not. Am I showing up on YouTube? Yeah, it seems that way. Seems to be. Wonder if it's adding to the old video or... No, it... Okay, this is currently happening. Right, let's see. Stream health is good. It's just not showing up on my phone. My phone must be dysfunctional in some fashion, I guess. And this is it over here. No, this is the other stream. You know what? I'm just gonna draw. If anybody happens to be watching, just give me a signal or a message on the live chat. I'll be keeping an eye on it this time. 2 watching. I think one of them is me because I'm watching the chat here. Alright. I don't think I'm going to quit on Starscream yet. I think that a few more Starscream sketches wouldn't do anybody any bad. So let's get this camera to a good spot. Kind of like, yeah, maybe a little more here. Okay, let's give this a try. When I say gesture drawing, I mean really quick, smooth drawings. We just kind of get the shape, get the hang of the shape of the body. Assuming you already know some proportions. Gonna have a little bit of a foreshortening deal going on here. This probably looks like a horrible mess, but it actually symbolizes a strong drawing. You can get a feel of what's going on just from the gesture. The drawing itself is going to be all the stronger. And if you ever drawn the perfect hand, the perfect foot, or even the perfect, I don't know, jacket or something, then all of a sudden you realize, oh, it doesn't fit. The proportion doesn't fit with the rest of the drawing. You've got to erase it. Either erase the jacket or erase everything else. And you don't want to do either. Well, if you want to avoid all that stuff, get the gesture done first. Figure out where everything goes first. I know you might be like me. I used to be thinking, oh, those beginners might need to use construction lines, but I'm good. I can draw right away. And that's a fine talent to have if you're signing or doing quick sketches at a Comic Con for your fans. But as far as doing it for serious drawings, that's you want to know what's going on when you're doing a serious drawing. I'm going to take a look and see if I'm showing up on my phone. Alright, yeah, there it goes. Just kill the audio because it's not, it's going to be delayed. Alright, I didn't mean to pause it. Alright, here we go. Continue working. Get the eyes taken care of. I mean, it's really. I mean, it's just like human proportions, really. There are a few differences in eye width or something like that between Transformers, but then again, there are simple differences like that when you draw other people. Understanding how to draw is going to really improve your ability to draw anything, whatever it may be. These lines are pretty light. I wonder if they're showing up on the stream. It's not super clear. Wonder if that's going to help. And I will need to get probably a white light as well. The yellow sometimes can prove less than favorable. Okay, I was trying to be able to see it a little bit. Maybe somebody's got a better screen than me so they can see it clearer than I can. Yeah, sorry, not as talkative. End of the week, I'm a little bit tired. But if you're watching this later on the upside, you can always have the TV running or have a conversation and just watch this on the side, so you don't really have to listen because it's already playing. Or I could find a way to add some background music to it, perhaps. Okay, now the fun part. Dealing with the foreshortening. Perspective's a fun thing. I don't mean that for, well, you know, actually, I'm getting to where I kind of like it. I I enjoy and respect the challenges that it presents. But at first, I did not like it. I realized how much work it was, and I didn't want to put all that in because it wasn't fun. I wanted to draw what was fun and what I was good at. Two stumbling blocks. You draw what's good you're good at, you're not going to get better. You'll get a little better at that, but it's not going to prove any good. You got to draw what you're not good at. And be honest with yourself. You know what your weakness is. In fact, I can probably tell you what a couple of them are if you're an artist. Hands, feet, perspective, anatomy. Maybe proportion. I don't know. Possibly proportion. Because there are so many ways to cheat these things. Hands and feet are difficult and they require specific study. Now, if you draw the body so many times that you draw the hands several times in conjunction, then yeah, you might be good at hands. But they're just so difficult unless you're drawing constantly and learn them synergistically, you're not going to be naturally good at them. That goes double for feet. If you're trying to submit something to a publisher, they're gonna know when you're hiding hands. I remember my first comic job I was working on, I wasn't good at hands, so you can guarantee hands ended up in pockets, behind the back, crossed arm position. I thought, oh, I'm being slick, I'm being smart, I'm pulling a fast one. They'll never know. But the editor noticed immediately. He says, "We're not hiding hands, are we?" I said, "Oh, no, no, of course not. No, silly. We're not hiding hands." But I was, and he found out about it. I had to learn very quickly. Feet are easier to hide because people generally wear shoes. If not, you can slip a sock on there. There's no excuse for someone to not be in a sock. You could be at home. I guess if you're doing people on the beach, you're out of luck. You're gonna have to draw hands and feet. But or you could just avoid beach scenes. Never draw anybody on the beach ever, and you'll never have to address that. But yeah, you have to learn them. Fun, not fun. Yeah, and once you learn them, you start to appreciate the challenge it takes to draw them. You'll want to learn different things, different setups and positions. I know I did. Like even when I look around at things for perspective, that's something I'm going back to. I'm not bad at it. I have an understanding of perspective, but I'm definitely not going to say I'm good at it. My battery's running low, and I need to kill the lamp and plug it back in. Alright, that's better. Everyone always recommends the perspective book by Norling, and seems like a fine enough book, but then I get to see spots in comics where it requires a perspective that I don't feel is quite covered in there. Now Andy Loomis has great sections on perspective, but he doesn't really explain them. He has like a few pages dedicated to perspective, really complex perspective. I actually need to take another look at it since I've got a better understanding now. But he just jumps into the deep end of the pool, then gets out. There's no real time to get to understand it from Loomis's books. I think the best one I found was this one called Vanishing Point. I forgot the author, but that's probably the best perspective book I found. The one I found to be the most useful, the most helpful. And now my phone's running low on battery. Gotta get a better charge on stuff. You know what? I can actually plug that up. And I'll do just that. Alright, let's get this wrapped up. You know, I'm actually violating some rules of perspective right here because if he's flying upwards, the vanishing point is below him, the horizon line is below him, So we'd be seeing under instead of above. So let's fix those. I'm here talking about I'm okay at perspective, and I'm over here breaking some of the basic rules of perspective. Alright, I digress. Now, I'm definitely going to put the pencil down for a bit once I'm through with this one. Just about always forget the patterns for Starscream's feet. I always remember the knee, but I forget the feet. Well, why should I be great at drawing Transformer feet? I mean, they are basically a variation of human feet, so you're not good at one, you'll be exposed when you're trying to do the other. Kind of like how some of the variations of them tried to make them look like they tried to add a muscular definition to their metal, which is a style that I kind of do like. I don't want them to be super bulky or anything, but I do kind of like the stylistic way that add uh, they add muscle definition to the Transformers. Yeah, I was trying to get sleepy. I'm going to wrap this one up. Try to get it looking decent. Oh, gonna get exposed on hands now. Not my favorite by far, but I do appreciate the challenge. I know how to do them, but I still use the steps and the breakdowns that it takes to get to the spot. So I can draw them, but I draw the hands, but I'm not comfortable drawing the hands. So you're still going to see skeletons and outline drawings. But it will still look fine after I'm done with it. As time passes, I'll need them less. Yeah, I'm content with that. That definitely will suffice for what I'm needing. Well, let's talk about proportion. I'm not really happy with my proportions here. No, definitely not happy with them. Let's see, one head down. Yeah, I'll finish it though. Fists are always a little bit easier. But if you're applying for an art position, be it comics or otherwise, you don't want to do a bunch of fists, because they know fists are easy. They want to see hands holding a wine glass. They want to see hands holding a pencil. They want to see hands in different positions showing that you understand how to draw hands. Fists are easy. You need to show much more than that. Send them a sequence of Hulk and Wolverine fighting, they'll throw it in the trash. Because that does not tell them whether or not you understand anatomy or proportion. Let's see, my light source is coming from here. I'll shade according to that. Got some shading pencils, but I'm not using them tonight. I can't claim to be very good with them just yet. I did do a pretty good Lego Ninjago the other day, but I know there's so much more to them than what I know. Oh, I forgot the wings. Not that it matters, because the Decepticons fly regardless of turning into a flying vehicle or not. They just fly. And the Autobots have to transform into a flying vehicle in order to be able to fly, but can never seem to be able to fly as robots. Now, the rules seem to change in Season 3. I think it's more that they're flying around in space than that they know how to fly now. Though in the beginning of the first season ever made, they all fly behind a mountain in the opening sequence. In fact, they fly a few times in the first 3 episodes. The Autobots and Decepticons alike. I guess somewhere along there the rules changed and only Decepticons were allowed to fly. Maybe they lost a game of Cybertronian cards. Alright, the winner of this gets to fly, the other team has to stay on the ground forever, no matter how bad the fight gets. And they tried it. Megatron must have had something up his sleeve, because he ended up winning that card game, and now no matter what, the Decepticons can fly and the Autobots are not allowed to. Otherwise they'll break the rule of the Cybertron code of, I guess, cards in combat. No, I'm just talking to keep this less boring right now, because I'm not really pleased with this drawing. The proportion is off. 1 head, 2 heads, 3 heads. Yeah, proportion is off. I guess I didn't measure as well as I could have. I'm still glad I'm doing this, though. Still glad I've got a functional stream. Use the word functional really kind of loosely, because still dealing with a few issues, but it's coming along for sure. It's definitely coming along. We got a few people watching, it seems. I'm not going to be on here too much longer. Does anyone care to say hello? Don't absolutely have to. I'm going to do a little bit of cleanup. You need not announce yourselves. If you have any questions, of course, you can ask them, or you can send me a message, and I will do my best to answer them. If you have any requests, I'm sure that I can do those requests. Popular thing seems to be anime. But if not, I think I've reached 25 minutes, and I was actually streaming a little bit before this too, figuring it out. This was just an extra bit, which again, not really pleased with. Should have quit when I was ahead. New tip for those of you here: don't draw when you're too tired. Pick something less serious. You can do some sketches, do some planning, do some doodling. Anything along those lines is gonna help you get better, but I definitely could do better than this. Well, let's end on a good piece. I'm going to pull out a piece that I've done when I'm a little bit more alert. I'm going to let the camera show this for about a minute, a few seconds, and upon that, and I will end on that note. That is the note that I will be more comfortable ending on. Let's get this a little closer. So a little bit, there we go. Alright, fellas, or ladies, I don't know, honestly. I believe I'm going to end the stream right here. This is really more of a, hope you enjoyed it. It was a lot of testing the hardware. Alright, I'm off now. Have a good night.